Hello, welcome to Alt Sex Talk, your channel of alternative sexuality. I'm Master Taíno. Today we're going to talk about what is leather. And this is a big thing because leather means a lot different things to different people. So what I'm going to share today with you is my experience, what concepts I have grown to learn about leather, how I see where leather is. First of all, leather is a way of life. It's not a fetish, it's not a kink, it's a way of life. That's the basic meaning of leather. And it's based on principles like honesty, loyalty, respect, integrity, and courage. I think every human being should live by those principles, but we enshrine them and we try to do our best to live by them. Yes, there are bad apples like in any other community, and there are people who say they follow those principles and they don't. That's what it is. Um, a little bit of history. Leather community basically kind of started after World War II, when gay veterans returned from the war and become sexual radicals in their bikes, and obviously as bikers they were leather. That is where the leather come from the bikers in the 40s and 50s. um, Obviously we have sophisticated the what we do with the leather and how we dress, but the basic thing came from the bikers. I was lucky because when I joined the community here in Washington, D.C., where I have lived for almost 40 years, um, I noticed that there were a bunch of clubs, leather clubs, and each one has a different purpose. And that's when I realized the diversity, how some things are more important than others for some people. For example, there was a club that were for bikers. If you don't have a bike, you don't belong to the club. And when we talk bike, we're talking about motorcycles. Another one was on BDSM. There was for people who practice BDSM. Others were the boys club. Other were there was a club who always was the one who created big leather events for the whole community. The other more social, the bar hoppers were always in the bar socializing. There was a club that were into uniforms. There was a club who just into fisting, who is just one aspect of sexuality. And then there was a club who was the one I joined, who was based on spirituality. It was a club aimed to reconcile our sexuality and our spirituality. It was really a Catholic leather gay club. And then towards the end of the 90s, when I discovered my mastery and I started living as a master, I realized that there were no organization aimed for us. So I created one, or I created a chapter of what it was already called Master Slave Together, it was called MAST, and give that venue. And we have had right now more than 21 years holding monthly meetings for our chapter. It's more like a support group than a club. Um, the other big thing in leather is that contest culture. People who are contest after contest after contest. So yeah, the same thing as Miss Universe and Miss America and all that stuff. Is a beauty contest. Uh, some of them are different. Some of them involve obviously the history of leather and other principles, but is a lot has to do with good bodies and a good show. And there are people who are very heavy into that. At the beginning, there were the International Mr. Leather, and there were the drummer contest, and a couple of other main ones. And then now we have contests for everything, every group, every town, every bar. There are more contests than contestants. So that is part of our culture too. Same as leather bars. Leather bars were where we used to meet. And I say used to because they are disappearing. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Two things that has, I would say, become stronger instead of being disappearing are the cigars and the boot blacks. People love still to smoke a good cigar, have the cigar social is something that bond people together. And there is an amazing display of boot blacks around the country. Every event has their boot blacks there. Men and women and transgender. A lot of people, gay and straight, a lot of people are into that art of boot blacking. So that's one of the positive things that we have been seeing. The closing obviously got a little bit boom with Tom of Finland. With the drawing of Tom of Finland, people began to feel uh, 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 aim to create more outfits. And there are people who are extremely elegant, and I admire that. But you know, some of us are very happy in boots, jeans, vest, and armband or wristband. You know, and we don't need that much to create anything else. So, but hey, that's the beauty of the diversity. Everybody looks for what fit for them. Um, Inclusive with the leather, there is a lot of people who like to have sex in leather, wearing leather. No, not in my, I don't spend $400 in a leather pant to use them during sex. That is, I think that's a little bit, doesn't make sense, at least for me. So where we are today, where are we today? Leather is evolving, have evolved, and is still evolving. Younger generations are bringing new stuff. Now it's not just the leather. Now people has rubber, people has neoprene, people has sport uniform, and other materials that create all kind of different gear that people feel comfortable with, and that's it's okay. You know, some all other guys don't like the change, but it's what it is. It's a new generation. They got to do what fit for them. Um, the other new thing that I have seen is more integration, not as much as I would like, but a lot of integration between the gay and the straight, the pansexual community. Inclusively, throughout the years, we see more and more straight people coming to us wanting to learn about leather. Unfortunately, they learn good stuff and they learn the myth and the things that some of people has created who are just a fantasy of what leather is or was. But there are people genuinely interested in the leather culture, and that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Um, for me, leather has become more an umbrella term. So when we talk, we are part of the leather community. That includes everything, everything that is kinky, everything who is alternative sexuality, basically anything, not necessarily people who wear leather clothes. So that is the way I see it now. And that is the way that I see it's developing. Um, Unfortunately, our place of gathering, the leather bars, are disappearing. It's sign of the time. People has other ways to meet their issues with the bars. Some people are alcoholics, or people cannot afford very expensive drinks. Some people has issue with parking, you know, all kind of problem in different cities. And now in 2020, the pandemic has eliminated, has closed many bars uh, temporarily, and many of them has closed forever because they cannot afford being closed so long during this pandemic. So that is an issue. But there are more events. There are still events where we can meet and we see our friends. Um, Something interesting is that it's still there are people in the community, especially in the gay community, who are resisting the change, especially those who come with the old guard thing and the way things were. Hey, the past is the past. We cannot go back to the past. We could cherish the past. I cherish my good times in the 90s where I have a lot of fun that I don't have now in the same way, but I find new ways to have fun. So we have to understand and realize where we are and go for it. It's nothing we can do. So I'm going to leave it with that. So we're changing, but this is our community, and that's what leather means for me. I hope you like it. Feel free to subscribe, get your notification button too, so you could know when new videos are coming. And I appreciate all your support, and contact me if you have any questions. See you later.